AITA for telling my sister that my special needs niece is not my responsibility? Before I am 40 got married to my wife 33, we talked about every in advance. It was silly stuff at first, how we squeezed toothpaste, which direction the toilet paper rolls should face, that sort of thing. But as our relationship progressed, we talked about more serious stuff. How we would discipline our children, living wills, and what we would do if we knew we were having a child with severe special needs. We decided together that we didn't want to do that to a human, to bring them into the world to suffer. We were lucky enough that it wasn't ever something we had to deal with. I had told my sister this because she is my best friend. She went running to our parents saying that we were terrible people who would terminate a pregnancy. That wasn't going to give us a perfect child. I never said that. We had to spend days explaining that we knew what we could handle and what we could deal with. My parents weren't happy. Well, unfortunately, my sister 36 did not have this talk with her husband. When she was pregnant with their second child, the doctor told them that the child would have many health issues. They prayed about it and went forward with the pregnancy. My niece is 9 now, and my sister now has an ex-husband. The medical expenses drained all their savings, and he could not handle knowing that caring for his daughter was going to be something he had to do for the rest of her life. We just had Thanksgiving and my sister is having a tough time. My niece is in diapers and will be for the rest of her life. My sister can't work because she would need special childcare. No daycare would do. Prescriptions are hundreds if not thousands every month. My parents are helping her, but my dad has had to postpone his retirement to be able to give her money. My wife and I help with about $500 a month. It's not much, but it still puts a hole in our budget. My sister wants to move in with me, so my wife, who works from home, and my mill, who lives with us to help with our children, can help her with my niece. We don't have room for 3 more people, or the budget to make out house accessible. So I told her that we are not responsible for her life choices. My parents are saying that I need to step up and help, or that they will give everything to my sister when they pass away. I told them that this was a great idea. My family doesn't want or need their money, and that they should set up a trust for her now. I guess that wasn't the answer they wanted, because everyone in the family is calling me an asshole for not taking care of my sister and niece. So I guess I'm asking if I'm the asshole for not wanting to be in a situation I intentionally avoided. Edit. Hey, thank you all for helping me get an outside view. Here are answers to the most common questions. 1. My ex-BIL pays child support and spousal support, and he spends a lot of time with my nephew, my sister's other child. 2. She can't move on with my parents because they downsized as soon as we were out of the house. 3. It was a religious thing. Her ex, and my parents are very religious. I used to be. 4. She is already receiving assistance from the government. 5. This one is painful to write. Without going into details, let me just say this. I'm relieved that my niece has so little brain activity that she can't actually be experiencing all the pain her poor little body is undergoing. NTA. Expectations are too high. Am I reading this right, that she thinks your mother-in-law would provide care for your niece, a child who has no relation to her? NTA. Your niece isn't your responsibility. Your sister needs to talk to get your niece on disability if she hasn't done so, and look into group homes. This little girl is going to be too big to lift without help in a few years. Probably the best you can do is to try and help look for resources that will make her life easier. AITA. Turn it around and try to convince your parents that signing over their house now would be more beneficial. Throw it all back in their faces. NTA. It's unreasonable to ask that you take 2 additional people into your home. That your WFH wife provide personal care while she's supposed to be doing the job she's being paid to do. And that your mill can take in caring for her child in addition to your own children. Like, WTF. Your entire household would revolve around your special needs niece, with your family's needs being secondary, because everyone else in the house can function independently. That would be very destructive to your family. If everyone else in the family thinks it's such a terrific idea to have your sister and her daughter move in with another family member and expect everyone in the household to help care for the daughter, why aren't they stepping up and offering to do what they expect of you? You are not the arsehole. They want you to do it so they don't have to. Is there no state welfare to HP out with this, by the way? NTA. It's not your responsibility to house and shelter your sister and niece. The $500 a month is generous enough and more than most people could, or would, put forth. NTA. You've already done way more than I'm willing to. Raising a profoundly disabled child is tough on parents and tough on marriages. You are already providing financial support. Where is the X in all this? He should be paying child support and helping provide care. Why would sister expect your mill to help raise her child? Why doesn't she move in with your parents so your mom can help care for her? If they already live with your parents, why isn't mom stepping up? You and your wife are being very generous in giving her $500 every month. NTA. NTA. Is everybody in the family that's getting on your back about this also giving your sister $500 a month? Have any of them offered to take her in? NTA. My husband and myself had a severe special needs daughter. Life expectancy of 2 weeks tops. She sadly passed away summer of 2021 when she was 6. She was trached on a vent 24/7 and fed through a feeding tube due to having PCH. We never asked for help due to it being our responsibility, not my family's. They are being unfair. We did have good coverage for her through Medicaid and dual coverage insurance. My husband and I both worked full-time. We did have 80 hours if nursing, 40 during the day and 40 at night, which was covered by Medicaid. Not sure where you guys are from, but I would have her get a social worker and have them help with assistance. My husband has had a vasectomy, but if I were to get pregnant again and the child had PCH, I would terminate. We mentally can't go through that again. Feel free to message me with questions about Medicaid or other assistance grants. Your words. Up. My niece is in diapers and will be for the rest of her life. Prescriptions are hundreds if not thousands every month. My wife and I help with about $500 a month. It's not much, but it still puts a hole in our budget. We don't have room for 3 more people, or the budget to make out house accessible. Everyone in the family is calling me an asshole for not taking care of my sister and niece. My sister wants to move in with me so my wife, who works from home, and my mill who lives with us to help with our children, can help her with my niece. Up. Kudos to you for sending $6,000 a year to your sister to assist her in caring for your niece. As I see it, the issues are 1. Care. 2. Medical costs. 3. The kind of house your niece needs. 4. Funding for 1 and 3 and 4. Arrangements for the future. 1. Your sister is understandably exhausted, but the primary responsibility for the child falls on her and the child's father. He needs to step up, financially and physically, and your sister really needs to look into a group home where her daughter can be cared for by skilled staff, or a day center for the severely disabled with skilled staff. Concerned family can care for the child 1 day a week at the weekend, on a rota basis. To give your sister a break too, you send $500 per month. All the relatives other than your parents need to step up and send $500 PM or at least $100 PM. Instead of pressuring you, she may have paternal family who could be helping. Also, the mother should look into state, federal benefit schemes. 3. Your parents could have their home adapted for the child's needs. So could relatives pressuring you. Or, see the group home per day center option. 4. Funding. Look into anti-abortion groups, religious and otherwise, to see which have funding schemes. Look into grants and schemes. State, national and charitable. https www.bronability.com/us/n/blogs/funding and financing/grants-for-families-with-disabled-children.html. https askisresourcecenter.unitedspinal.org/index.php. PG equals KB. Page and id equals 3036. https www.specialneedsalliance.org/blog/government programs for children with disabilities/ https www.debt.org/advice/financial-help-special-needs/. It is outrageous for anyone to arbitrarily decide, unilaterally, that you and your wife and Mill must take responsibility for your niece for the next 30+ years. If relatives are serious about their concerns, and not just posturing, a summit could be organized where everyone turns up and a meeting is held about what to research, and specific tasks delegated. Don't let yourself be guilted in damaging your family and finances. Your sister had moral, religious reasons for taking on this situation, and these are the consequences. Her and her ex-husband's consequences to bear. Their responsibilities. It is entitled and arrogant to shove them onto you, and downright disrespectful to decide that your no relation to her should wreck her health and peace of mind dealing with your sister's problems. Not even be consulted. Stand firm. Please update us. NTA. Your sister's situation is sad, but you have no obligation to do more than you are doing. You are being more generous than many other siblings would be. Sometimes people who are in very difficult situations become selfish and entitled. It sounds as if your sister has this problem. Her burden is so great that she cannot imagine why others don't give her more help. She has no right to expect you and your wife and mother-in-law to take care of her and her children. You have children of your own. Your wife is trying to work from home. How is that going to work out? The situation is an invitation for disaster. I bet if she moved in, she would lean more and more on your wife and her mother. It would definitely not be fair to them. Your children would be uncomfortable. The whole household would be revolving around your niece's problem. It would not be surprising if it took a toll on your marriage. If your sister can't handle caring for the poor child on her own, then she should look into residential care. It strikes me that your sister is not thinking long-term but is just trying to get from day to day. The solution of moving in with your family may sound great to her, but it is not realistic. Edited to clarify what I was trying to say. NTA. What an absurd expectation. If $500 is impacting your budget, stop doing it. If her expenses are piling up, you're losing far more than she's gaining. NTA. I'd tell them that they are demanding far too much from you and your family, and that what you are giving now is already affecting your budget and what you can do in life. If they are going to constantly try to twist your arm and pressure you into making your whole family's lives revolve around your sister and her niece, then you will stop giving what you earn. Make a clean cut, as it's just too much to be sacrificing already while being given the middle finger and a sneer for not sacrificing everything. They can then make up the deficit alternatively. They can pull their heads all the way in and appreciate that you are already doing your bit. NTA. You are already helping. $500 per month is nothing to sneeze at, and 100% inheritance would be good in the long term for them. It's easy to invite a relative to stay. It can be nearly impossible to get them to leave. Hold your ground. NTA. You are paying hundreds a month just to subsidize your sister. She knew the risks of going forward with her pregnancy, did it, and is demanding assistance from everybody else. Your parents kinda deserve it given their perspective. But you sure don't. Your idea about a trust is probably the best solution here. Try to financially remove yourself from this. Stop paying out and let your parents deal with the consequences of their favoritism. NTA. Also, I tried to think why her caring parents wouldn't take her in themselves, and then it occurred to me. This is about integrating your niece in with your nuclear family. Specifically with your kids. Your sister can bring her up now. Maybe with some help from your parents or you or your mother-in-law. But what about when your generation is gone? I imagine your sister thinks that if you all live together, then your kids and her will be so close that when your sister gets too old to care for her, your children will be able to take that responsibility on. If you let your sister in, you are signing your entire family on for caring for your niece for the rest of their lives. INTA. And your wife works FTOM home, which means she would essentially have to give up her job, because you can't work and take care of a special needs child at the same time. This is my biggest fear. Raising a disabled child would ruin my life. I'm not embarrassed to admit that. I don't feel shame for that. NTA. You already provide money, which I would never do. You made a choice to not disrupt your life with your own children. So why would you do that for someone else? NTA. Was a special needs child, as was one of my sisters. Children aren't exactly easy to raise already. Adding to it by taking on a special needs child is not something everyone can do. You aren't an asshole for knowing your boundaries.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.